My beloved child. There is something your heart has been sensing all day, even if your mind has tried to ignore it. Have you noticed that quiet feeling you cannot explain? The one that gently follows you through every conversation, every moment of silence, every ordinary task. It is as if someone is trying to reach you, not through noise, but through the deepest part of your spirit. Don't close this message yet. Stay with me until the end, because what you are about to hear is not about predicting your future. It is about understanding your heart, finding peace, and discovering why today's emotions may be leading you toward healing instead of fear. Imagine that someone very dear to you sat quietly today, holding words they wished they had spoken much sooner. Not because they suddenly became perfect, and not because every problem disappeared, but because life has a remarkable way of revealing truths when we least expect it. Sometimes it takes a difficult conversation, an unexpected memory, or a quiet moment alone for someone to realize what truly matters. Today may have been one of those moments. Perhaps you have carried questions that never seemed to find answers. Why did things become distant? Why were there misunderstandings? Why did silence replace conversations that once felt so effortless? These questions can become heavy burdens, and over time they begin to shape the way we see ourselves. But healing often begins not when every answer arrives, but when we choose not to let unanswered questions define our worth. There is a beautiful truth that many people overlook. Every person is fighting battles that others cannot see. Sometimes the people who appear strongest are carrying the deepest fears. Sometimes those who become quiet are not indifferent at all. They simply do not know how to express what their hearts are feeling. Compassion grows when we remember that everyone is still learning how to love, forgive, and become whole. Think about a river after a powerful storm. For a while, the water becomes cloudy, restless, and difficult to see through. Yet as time passes, the current settles. The mud sinks to the bottom, and the water becomes clear again. Human hearts work much the same way. Strong emotions may cloud our judgment for a season, but patience often reveals what panic never could. Maybe today reminded someone of the kindness they once received from you. Maybe they remembered your laughter, your encouragement, or the way you cared without expecting anything in return. Small acts of love often leave the deepest impressions, even when we believe they have been forgotten. The seeds of kindness grow quietly beneath the surface long before anyone notices the flowers. But this message is not only about another person. It is about you. You have spent so much time wondering whether you were enough. You have replayed conversations, questioned your decisions, and carried responsibilities that were never meant to define your identity. Yet your value has never depended on another person's ability to recognize it. Your worth has always existed long before anyone chose to appreciate it. Faith gently reminds us that every season has a purpose. Waiting teaches patience. Loss teaches gratitude. Uncertainty teaches trust. None of these lessons are easy, yet each one shapes the person you are becoming. Growth rarely feels comfortable while it is happening, but one day you will look back and realize those difficult seasons were preparing you for greater peace. Perhaps someone needed today to recognize their own mistakes. That realization cannot be forced. It cannot be rushed. Genuine change begins when people become honest with themselves. The strongest transformations are born from humility, not pressure. Meanwhile, your own journey continues. Every sunrise carries an invitation to begin again. Every breath reminds you that your story is still being written. No painful chapter has the authority to become your entire life story unless you allow it to. New pages are always waiting. Imagine standing in a quiet field just before dawn. The sky is still dark, yet the first light begins to appear along the horizon. Nothing dramatic happens in a single second. The darkness simply gives way, little by little, until the entire landscape is transformed. Hope often arrives in exactly the same way, not through sudden explosions, but through gentle light that grows stronger with every passing moment. If someone truly wished to speak honestly today, perhaps the most important words would not be dramatic at all. They might simply say, "I finally understand." Those words carry more power than endless promises because understanding creates the foundation upon which trust can slowly be rebuilt. Whether those words are ever spoken aloud is something no one can guarantee. Yet peace does not require certainty about another person's choices. Peace begins when your own heart becomes anchored in truth rather than fear. Love grows healthiest when it is rooted in freedom, not control. You cannot force understanding, affection, or change. But you can choose kindness. You can choose wisdom. You can choose to become someone whose peace is not easily shaken by circumstances beyond your control. There may be moments when loneliness whispers that you have been forgotten. Do not believe that voice. Seasons of quiet are not proof that your life has stopped moving forward. Many of life's greatest transformations happen beneath the surface, where no one else can see them. A seed buried in the ground appears hidden. Yet beneath the soil, roots are forming. Strength is developing. Growth is happening long before anyone witnesses the first green leaf. Your life may feel hidden right now, but hidden does not mean hopeless. Keep caring for your heart. Protect your peace. Continue choosing forgiveness, not because someone necessarily deserves it, but because your own soul deserves freedom from bitterness. Forgiveness does not erase wisdom or healthy boundaries. Instead, it releases the heavy burden of resentment that keeps us tied to yesterday. Remember that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is continuing to move forward while fear tries to convince you to stop. Every small act of faith becomes another step toward the person you were created to become. If today's emotions have felt unusually intense, perhaps they are inviting you to pause instead of panic. Reflection often reveals lessons that hurried decisions cannot see. Give yourself permission to breathe. Give yourself permission to rest. Healing is not a race. As this message comes to a close, let your heart remember one simple truth: your future is not built upon fear, regret, or uncertainty. It is built one faithful step at a time, through hope, wisdom, compassion, and trust. Whatever conversations may happen tomorrow, whatever answers may eventually come, never forget that your greatest strength has never depended on another person's approval. It has always lived within the heart that continues choosing love even after disappointment. May peace settle gently over your thoughts tonight. May hope replace anxiety. May forgiveness soften old wounds. And may you continue walking forward with quiet confidence, knowing that every new day offers another opportunity to grow, to heal, and to become the person you are meant to be. If this message touched your heart, comment Amen. And if you would like more uplifting messages filled with faith, hope, and encouragement, subscribe and join this journey. May peace go with you wherever you are today. The silence after an emotional day often feels louder than the conversations themselves. Long after everyone else has gone to sleep, people replay moments they cannot change. They wonder if they should have spoken differently, listened more carefully, or simply stayed a little longer. If someone were speaking honestly from their heart tonight, they might quietly admit, "Today changed something inside me." Not because every question suddenly found an answer, but because difficult moments often reveal what comfortable days never can. There is something remarkable about reflection. It slows us down enough to notice details we rushed past before. Imagine someone sitting alone by a window as evening settles over the sky. The noise of the day fades, and memories begin to surface, not the dramatic ones, but the gentle ones. A smile that brought comfort. A kind word that eased anxiety. A moment of patience during someone else's struggle. Those quiet memories often become the ones people treasure the most. Sometimes we spend years believing that love is proven through grand gestures, yet life repeatedly teaches a different lesson. Real love is often found in ordinary moments. It is the person who remembers your fears without judging them. It is the one who celebrates your victories without jealousy. It is the one who remains kind even when life becomes complicated. Those simple expressions of care leave marks on the heart that time cannot easily erase. Perhaps someone realized today that they had been carrying unnecessary pride. Pride has a way of building walls where bridges should exist. It convinces people that admitting mistakes is weakness, when in reality humility is one of the greatest forms of strength. Every meaningful relationship grows healthier when honesty becomes more important than being right. As you listen, remember something important. You cannot rewrite yesterday, but you are not trapped inside it either. Every sunrise offers another opportunity to choose patience over anger, hope over fear, and understanding over assumptions. The decisions you make today become the foundation upon which tomorrow quietly stands. Picture a traveler walking through a dense forest just before sunrise. For a while, every direction seems uncertain. Shadows stretch across the path, making each step feel hesitant. Yet as the first rays of morning begin to filter through the trees, the same path that once looked confusing suddenly becomes clear. Life often works in the same gentle way. Clarity rarely arrives all at once. It grows little by little as light replaces uncertainty. There may still be questions you wish someone would answer. That longing is deeply human. But peace begins when you understand that not every unanswered question needs to become a permanent wound. Some answers arrive through conversations. Others arrive through personal growth. And some quietly reveal themselves only after enough time has passed for your heart to see them differently. Faith reminds us that our lives are never measured by the opinions of others. Your identity is not determined by rejection, misunderstanding, or silence. It is shaped by the courage to keep loving, the wisdom to keep learning, and the grace to keep moving forward with compassion. If today's event stirred emotions you cannot fully explain, let them become an invitation rather than a burden. Slow down. Listen carefully to your own heart. Spend time in prayer. Let gratitude replace worry one small thought at a time. Healing rarely announces its arrival with loud celebrations. More often, it enters quietly, bringing a peace that cannot always be explained but can certainly be felt. Stay with this message, because the most meaningful part of this journey is still ahead. Sometimes the greatest breakthrough is not discovering what someone else was thinking today, it is discovering the strength, peace, and hope that have been growing inside your own heart all along. Even now, as these words reach your heart, there is a quiet invitation waiting for you. It is not an invitation to chase every answer or to carry every burden. It is an invitation to release the weight you were never meant to hold alone. Too often we believe that if we think harder, worry longer, or replay the past enough times, we will finally find peace. But peace is not discovered through endless striving. It is found when we finally allow our hearts to rest in hope instead of fear. Imagine an old lighthouse standing on a rocky shore. Storm after storm crashes against it. Fierce winds howl through the night, and waves rise higher than anyone thought possible. Yet when morning comes, the lighthouse is still standing. Not because the storm stopped, but because its foundation was stronger than the storm itself. Your life can become like that lighthouse. Difficult seasons may come and go, but when your heart is rooted in faith, kindness, and truth, you do not have to be shaken by every wave that rises around you. If someone were able to tell you everything they felt today, perhaps their words would surprise you. They might admit that they misunderstood certain moments. They might confess that fear often spoke louder than wisdom. They might even say they spent more time thinking about yesterday than preparing for tomorrow. These are deeply human experiences. We all carry moments we wish we had handled differently. But growth begins the moment we stop pretending we have nothing left to learn. That is why grace is so powerful. Grace does not ignore mistakes, but it refuses to let mistakes become the final chapter. It gently whispers that people can grow, hearts can soften, and lives can change one faithful step at a time. Every new day offers another opportunity to become more patient, more compassionate, and more courageous than the day before. Perhaps your greatest breakthrough is not waiting for someone else's words at all. Perhaps it begins the moment you recognize how much you have already overcome. Think about everything you survived that once convinced you it would break you forever. The sleepless nights eventually ended. The tears slowly became quieter. The pain that once filled every thought gradually lost its power. You are stronger today than you realize, not because life has always been easy, but because you kept moving forward when giving up would have been easier. There is a quiet beauty in becoming someone who chooses hope without needing perfect circumstances. That kind of hope cannot be manufactured. It grows through countless ordinary decisions to trust, forgive, and keep believing that tomorrow can still hold something beautiful. It is the kind of hope that transforms hearts from the inside out. So tonight, instead of asking, "What if everything goes wrong?" try asking a different question. What if I am being prepared for greater wisdom, deeper peace, and stronger faith. That single shift changes the way you see every challenge. Instead of viewing obstacles as endings, you begin seeing them as opportunities to grow into someone stronger than you were yesterday. As this journey continues, remember one simple truth. You are not defined by one difficult conversation, one painful memory, or one season of uncertainty. Your story is still unfolding. Every sunrise writes another page. Every act of kindness adds another line. Every moment of faith builds another chapter filled with hope. Stay with this message until the very end, because the most encouraging reminder is still ahead. Sometimes the greatest message you were waiting to hear is not simply that someone thought about you today, it is realizing that your own heart has become stronger, wiser, and more peaceful than it has ever been before. Sometimes, the message you have been waiting to hear is not spoken with words at all. It arrives through quiet moments that change the way you see yourself. Imagine someone sitting alone tonight, reflecting on everything that happened today. They realize that life moved so quickly that they forgot to appreciate the people who quietly brought light into their darkest days. It is often only after the noise fades that gratitude begins to speak. What if today's urgency was never about panic? What if it was about awakening? There are moments in life that gently shake us, not to frighten us, but to remind us that time is precious. Every conversation matters. Every act of kindness leaves a mark. Every opportunity to forgive creates room for healing. We spend so much energy waiting for extraordinary moments that we sometimes overlook the quiet miracles already surrounding us. The friend who stayed, the stranger who smiled, the strength that carried us through another difficult day. If someone were speaking honestly from the deepest part of their heart, they might simply say, "I finally understand what truly matters." Success fades. Possessions change. Circumstances come and go. But love, compassion, faith, and integrity remain long after everything else has passed. Those are the treasures that cannot be taken away. Those are the things that give life its deepest meaning. Perhaps you have been measuring your life by what you have lost instead of what you have gained. Look at how much wisdom has grown inside you. You now recognize warning signs you once ignored. You value peace more than unnecessary conflict. You have learned that protecting your heart does not mean closing it forever. It means allowing love to enter through wisdom instead of fear. Faith often grows strongest in places where certainty disappears. It is easy to trust when every door is open. It is much harder to keep believing when the path ahead seems unclear. Yet that is where character is formed. Every season of waiting teaches endurance. Every disappointment teaches compassion. Every unanswered question invites deeper trust that life is still unfolding exactly one day at a time. Picture an artist standing before a blank canvas. At first, each brushstroke appears disconnected, almost meaningless. But as more colors are added, a masterpiece slowly begins to emerge. Your life may feel like scattered brushstrokes right now. Some moments have been joyful. Others have been painful. Yet none of them exist in isolation. Together, they are shaping a story far more beautiful than you can currently see. There is another truth your heart needs to remember tonight. You do not need to carry guilt for every outcome you could not control. Some doors close despite your best efforts. Some relationships change despite your deepest prayers. Some seasons end even when you wished they would continue. Letting go of false responsibility is one of the greatest gifts you can give your own soul. You are responsible for your choices, your character, and your kindness, not for controlling every chapter of someone else's story. As you prepare for tomorrow, choose to wake with expectation instead of fear. Smile more freely. Speak more kindly. Forgive a little faster. Appreciate the people who make your life brighter. And never underestimate the quiet power of hope. Hope has carried countless hearts through seasons they never thought they would survive, and it can carry yours as well. If this message has stayed with you until now, perhaps that is because your heart needed this reminder more than you realized. The most urgent message was never about fear or uncertainty. It was about remembering who you are, a person capable of growing, healing, forgiving, and walking forward with faith. And sometimes, that is the most life-changing message anyone could ever receive.